Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Tuesday, September 30, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. We are hours away from a federal government shutdown. We're joined by House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries to discuss what is going on Capitol Hill. Also on today's show, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth calls all of the generals from around the world for what was essentially a stupid-ass pep rally in Virginia. He made some stupid comments. Trump made some stupid comments. And it was a complete waste of time. Also, Republicans are targeting voters in Pennsylvania, claiming Democrats rigged a state Supreme Court election. That's a lie. We'll have an activist on to discuss that. Plus, our Black Star Network Marketplace will introduce you to the CEO of 5W Auto, a company revolutionizing car care with eco-friendly, water-saving products. Also, pastor out of Dallas speaks his truth about white nationalism in America. We'll hear from our fraternity brother, Pastor Brian Carter. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling.
We're less than 6 hours away from a federal government shutdown. Republicans continue to say that Democrats want to provide health care to undocumented workers, even though they know that's a lie because federal law actually prevents that from happening. Trump finally sat down with Democratic congressional leaders after he was complaining and chastising and criticizing them last week. And then what he's done is he's gone to his social media and acting like a spoiled, petulant child, posting silly, ridiculous, racist memes. Joining us right now is House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Glad to have you on the show. First and foremost, again, I'm on social media. I'm on Twitter. And all I am seeing repeatedly are Republicans saying Democrats want to give illegal aliens health care. I see Eric Erickson, radio folks, members of Congress all saying that. That seems to be their driving talking point. What say you? You on mute. Do we have him?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. Go ahead.
All right. Good to be on with you. Republicans are lying, Roland, for exactly the reasons that you laid out. Federal law currently prohibits undocumented immigrants from being the beneficiaries of health care paid for by U.S. taxpayer dollars, period, full stop. And not a single Democrat on Capitol Hill is trying to change that law. What we have made clear is that we're willing, we're ready, we're able to try to find a bipartisan path forward in order to reach a spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, that lifts up their quality of life, as opposed to hurting everyday Americans, which is what Republicans did in their one big ugly bill to try to reward their billionaire donors with massive unjustified tax breaks. We're not willing to go along with that scheme moving forward, just like we uniformly opposed the one big ugly bill in the House and the Senate. But we are not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. In an environment where there's been an all-out assault on the health care of everyday Americans throughout this year, unprecedented in nature, Republican health care crisis, largest cut to Medicaid in American history, triggering a possible $536 billion cut to Medicare as well at the end of the year if Congress doesn't act. Their refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which is going to result in more than 20 million people in a matter of days receiving notices that their premiums, copays, and deductibles are going to skyrocket, and they're closing hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics because of the changes that were made in the one big ugly bill, which is now law, and the attack on health care.
I saw a senator from Mississippi say that it's Democratic policies that are closing rural hospitals. And I'm sitting there going like, what are you talking about? I mean, we saw literally after the bill was passed, a hospital in Nebraska announced they were closing. And so it's amazing to hear them claim one thing when that is simply not the case. You had the entire healthcare system of Louisiana say to Speaker Mike Johnson, do not pass this bill or we are in danger.
That's exactly right. But, you know, what I've learned over the years in terms of this version of the Republican Party, as you've consistently and authentically pointed out, Roland, one, facts don't matter, right? They'll lie with impunity, and that's what they're doing right now. Hypocrisy is not a constraint to their behavior. They'll say one thing and then do the other. And of course, they've come to the conclusion in the Trump era that their shamelessness is like a superpower. But they miscalculated in this particular instance. We're less than 6 hours away from a government shutdown, and they assumed that Democrats were going to blink. But we made clear from the very beginning, we're in the midst of an unprecedented assault on the health care of everyday Americans, and we're not going to go along to get along. And the reality is, if they want Democratic votes in order to get legislation over the finish line, then of course it's reasonable to conclude that Democratic values should be reflected in that legislation. And we've made the point. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care. That's the line in the sand that we've drawn fighting on behalf of the American people, because this Republican-created healthcare crisis is an assault on urban America, an assault on working class America, an assault on rural America, an assault on small town America, an assault on Black and brown communities all throughout America, and an assault on the heartland of America. And it's got to be reversed.
So you're going to deal with the reality that, I mean, look, they are already trying to blame an impending shutdown on Democrats. Pew dropped their poll that showed this. Most Democrats disapprove of congressional leaders' job performance, while Republican approval of GOP congressional leadership spikes. And so the numbers are right here. Messaging is a huge part of this. And so what is the plan of action to actually drive this home, as opposed to being bludgeoned to death by Republicans saying it's all on you, it's all on Democrats, it's your fault, the government will shut down?
Well, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Common sense suggests that how can it be the fault of Democrats when Republicans have complete control of government right now? That's illogical. It makes no sense. And the reality is, if Republicans were really interested in trying to resolve this issue in advance of this midnight deadline, then House Republicans would be here in Washington right now. Democrats are here in the House reporting for duty. Republicans are on vacation. Mike Johnson literally canceled votes that were previously scheduled to take place yesterday and today, and Republicans are scattered throughout the country and the world. Why? Because they have no interest in actually trying to fund the government. And most polling has shown consistently that the American people recognize who runs the government right now. Republicans have been firing thousands of federal workers throughout the year since January 20th. That's happening in the absence of a government shutdown. And there's no reason to believe that Democrats are actually going to be the party that bears the brunt of the blame. Yes, of course, the MAGA extremist base is going to follow along with anything that Donald Trump has to say. They probably believe that that AI video that he put out there yesterday was in part real. But the American people, those who have common sense, those who understand the realities of a country right now that is suffering from Republican control of government, will recognize that Democrats are on their side, fighting to protect their health care, and Republicans are the ones who've been gutting it throughout the entirety of this year and now are refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which is going to trigger these dramatically increased health care costs in an environment where America is already too expensive, the cost of living is too high, the Trump tariffs are making life more expensive for everyday Americans, and Republicans continue to refuse to do anything about it.
Former White House advisor, staffer Dan Coe said this here: Dems are getting on shutdown messaging. We're blowing it. We need to fight. Here's what we could have done, like safe travel. Trump's mass firings could mean no TSA agents, no air traffic controls, no NTSB investigated crashes, no FBI to investigate crimes, no prisons to send anyone to because there'll be no correction officers, no weather people, no cancer researchers, no food inspectors, no Secret Service, all potentially in the chopping block. This list could be 100 times longer. We need to remove the leverage Trump keeps building. We need to stop getting rolled. This is absurd, and I'm sick of us ceding easy wins to Trump. What say you?
Yeah, I don't even understand what this particular individual is talking about. We're not in a shutdown right now. Of course, we'll articulate the consequences as it relates to the shutdown that Donald Trump and Republicans will own. We certainly aren't in a position, nor should we ever, if the goal is to win the narrative, to articulate a laundry list of items to the American people, when in reality, the central defining issue of this fight is that we are protecting the health care of the American people. The American people know their health care is under assault. They care about it. They care about their quality of life. And they also care about, of course, the high cost of living in the United States of America. And the healthcare issue relates to these items directly, authentically, and viscerally.
Speaker Mike Johnson was on CNBC. He actually said this. I'd love to get your response.
Mr. Speaker, at that meeting yesterday, did they present, and I don't know how much you can talk about what went on, but did they give an entire the Democrats an entire wish list of things? Did they say they want health care for illegal immigrants and I don't know, funding, some TVs? They said we want all these things.
Yes, and they put it in writing because remember they filed a counter proposal continuing resolution. We filed a 24-page clean CR. They filed a dirty CR as a counter proposal, included in it, and they brought this up at the meeting yesterday. They want to restore taxpayer-funded benefits, American taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens, okay? We're not doing that. We got...
He goes on CNBC says, y'all put it in writing. Is there a document that you've seen? What is he talking about?
Yeah, it's a stone cold lie. The reality is we introduced a continuing resolution to keep the government open. And that continuing resolution did three important things. One, it would cancel the Medicaid cuts, which are the largest cuts to Medicaid in American history and are going to be devastating to communities all across the country. Two, we permanently extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which benefit working class Americans all across the country. 93% of the tax credits go to people who make $63,000 or less in the United States of America. And third, there are accountability provisions to make sure that Republicans can't engage in an agreement that's bipartisan, that then is signed into law by President Trump, and then on the back end, they engage in rescissions to undo Democratic priorities and values that we believe will make a difference to the American people. We would be fools to ever enter into an agreement with them that then allowed them to back in that agreement by engaging in rescissions without Democratic votes. So there's a provision in the law that, of course, needs to change. That's our proposal. And I have no idea what Mike Johnson is talking about. But the reality is, because they don't have a defensible position, that's probably the reason why Donald Trump had no cameras in that Oval Office meeting, unlike any other high-profile meeting that he's done this year. They don't have a defensible position. They know we have them on the run. They know we're on the right side of the American people when it comes to fighting to protect their health care, as Barack Obama himself noted just a few days ago. And we're in this fight until we win this fight on behalf of everyday Americans.
All right, Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
All right, got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
In my book, The Power to Persist, I share 8 simple yet powerful habits, a blueprint for transforming obstacles into opportunities and pressure into purpose. Just as they fueled my rise from the South Side of Chicago to a national stage. And on the Power to Persist podcast, I bring that blueprint to life.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Charlie Kirk, gun violence in America, and how the nation has responded in the week since.
In many ways, it's become very, very toxic, a witch hunt, really attacking anyone who's not mourning this man.
What we're seeing right now is the weaponization of selective compassion, and people will so often don't say anything about the crisis of gun violence.
We're going to dig into all of it, what this means for the state of gun violence and the state of free speech. You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Lil Thompson with winwithblackmen.org. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
My panel, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Lee, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA, joining us from D.C. Tyler McMillan, social justice leader and movement strategist. We'll be later joined by Dr. Larry Walker, associate professor, University of Central Florida, out of Orlando. Mustafa, just your thoughts again on this impending shutdown. Everywhere on social media, everywhere, all I see is Democrats want to give health care to illegal aliens. That is the Republican talking point. Do you think Democrats have been effective in knocking that back?
No, if they had been effective, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. And, I appreciate, Hakeem coming onto the show, Representative Jeffries coming onto the show and sharing, but they've got to do a much better job. The problem is that we never put a face on the issues that folks are talking about. So you can talk about the numbers, we can talk about there's 87 million people who are uninsured and underinsured in this country, but you got to bring it home. It's got to actually resonate with folks about who those individuals are, what they're going through, what they're losing, and why we should be focused on these issues. So they're just not doing what they need to do.
Tyler, on that particular point there, Bishop William Barber always talks about this here. He says, you got to use impacted people. You've got to have the voices of impacted people. And so to Mustafa's point, he's right. You got to be able to show who these people are. And it can't just be a Washington, D.C. conversation. And again, every single time Republicans say this, look at my response would be lie, lie, lie. In fact, this is how I roll. If I was Democratic Leader Jeffries and my staff was monitoring that CNBC interview and Mike Johnson said that, I would have said, call the control room right now. Get me on the air while he's on the air so I can tell everybody he just lied. That, to me, is the kind of response, the rapid response that Democrats have to have in the moment. Not waiting for a news conference, not waiting for a tweet, but literally say, call the control room right now, put me on the air because he just lied.
Absolutely, and I think we need some more fire behind what's happening right now, because this isn't politics. This is actual people's lives who will be affected. We need some Gavin Newsom energy, but on a whole new level of meeting them where their lives meet, and making it clear that this crisis is not a bipartisan failure, but it's a result of Republican obstruction and Trump's aligned extremism that has really affected families. And as you said before, telling the stories of those who will be impacted. So those who have to make those real life, decisions when this will impact, what families will have to face eviction notices and empty refrigerators, and knowing that families will have to lose paychecks and delayed health care and child care and housing assistance, and really making it real so that it really relates to folks and help them understand that this fight is not only in Washington, but it's connecting back into communities and how it will impact them.
Sense of urgency, Larry, that's what it has to be. We need to be hearing. And again, the numbers don't lie. The polling numbers don't lie. People do not feel as if Democratic congressional leadership are meeting the moment.
Yeah, I think one of the problems we talk about, Jeffries and Schumer, is that I think that there are politicians in terms of the communication style that doesn't work anymore, and it's for an age that's long gone. And so they're going to learn, they're going to have to adapt, because once again, Roland, in terms of, the Republicans, what they're proposing is not popular, but the Democrats haven't been able to articulate an agenda, a counter narrative to highlight to the American people that we're fighting on your behalf. And if they don't get it together, Roland, we got midterms coming up in a short period of time. And then a few years after that, we have the election. But once again, they don't really have to refine the communication style. And I agree with you. It is essentially, you're going to adopt the communication style as more like urban guerrilla warfare, is that you're being the aggressor when necessary to put out, to communicate to the American people what's at stake here. If you don't wake up, that, you'll lose your health care, and far more, lose your health care. It'll increase mortality rates. Once again, not being able to put food on the table. But once again, this communication style has to be more aggressive. And I agree with you. You got to be, and look, if you have to be in the studio with them as they tell some of these lies, but you've got to have people also who are out there, Roland, who are really good at communicating. And let's be clear, sometimes the Democratic Party is trying to mute those individuals, Jasmine Crockett among others, who are excellent communicators.
All right, hold tight 1 second, going to a break, we come back. I can't even tell you what the hell that thing was today that the grossly unqualified white man Pete Hegseth did today with America's top generals. Total waste of money, total waste of time for what was essentially a pep rally. We'll discuss next right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to contribute to our show? Give via Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. An hour of living history with Dr. Richard Mariba Kelsey, thinker, builder, author, and one of the most important and impactful elders in the African American community. He reflects on his full and rich life and shares his incomparable wisdom about our past, present, and future.
African genius is saying that my uncle was a genius, my brother was a genius, my neighbor was a genius. I think we ought to drill that in ourselves and move ahead rather than believing that I got it.
That's next on the Black Table, here on the Black Star Network.
What's up? It's the MCEO Talib Kweli. You are checking out Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Something happened today that was essentially a pep rally. Pete Hegseth, the grossly unqualified white man picked to lead the Department of Defense, stands before a massive U.S. flag, having his Patton moment from the movie. He's addressing the top generals in our military. Okay, let me explain something to y'all. Do you understand how stupid it is to have all of America's top generals located in one place at an event that was public? Guys, it was a pep rally. It was a campaign event. And they sat there and listened to this idiot Hegseth trash retired generals, talk about grooming and overweight officers and shaving your beard. If you don't like it, you can resign. Oh, military exceptionalism, all this BS. Then the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief, Mr. Bone Spurs, okay, who never served, he walks out there, trashes Obama, trashes Biden, before people who are sworn to uphold and protect the Constitution, individuals who are not supposed to be participating in political rallies. And that's exactly what this was. So here's this idiot Hegseth whining and complaining and bemoaning DEI.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit. I've made it my mission to uproot the obvious distractions that made us less capable and less lethal. That said, the War Department requires the next step. Underneath the woke garbage is a deeper problem, and a more important problem that we are fixing and fixing fast. Common sense is back at the White House, so making the necessary changes is actually pretty straightforward.
One leader said in the Politico story, we could have did this in an email. Do y'all understand how much money it costs to fly in the top generals from all across the world to listen to a 90-minute, 2-hour, whatever the hell that was? Here's this idiot Donald Trump.
It was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear. I moved a submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer, but it's something we don't ever want to even have to think about. But when somebody mentions it, that submarine started immediately thereafter. And it's just lurking, but I'm sure we're not going to have to use it. But it's an amazing, it's undetectable, totally. Ours is, theirs isn't. Theirs are totally detectable. We can detect them easily. We go right to the spot.
What the hell is he talking about? Retired Lieutenant Colonel Cleo Davis joins us right now, the U.S. Army. Her memoir is Forged in Battle, African-American Officers Serving in the United States Army. Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
I don't even know where to start from the sheer stupidity of what the nation's top brass had to endure in that pep rally.
You want me to start?
Go right ahead.
Yeah. I mean, we have a gentleman who is the head of the Secretary of War, who was a captain and then, I understand, a major in the National Guard. He is talking to general officers, but he's speaking from the level in which he knows. He started talking about being a platoon leader, and he goes forward to being a platoon leader. So that's what he understands. He's talking to people who have put their lives on the line for this country for years and that are qualified to be general officers. So, of course, it was a pep rally. Nothing to be really upset about unless you want to get into the eaches of what he said.
Well, this idiot is standing there, we're not the Chiarellis and the Millens, and you don't stand in front of generals and shit on previous chairmen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and top leaders of America's military. People who folk in that room served with, served under, who they actually led. That to me was, that's not what you do with the military of the United States.
Well, obviously, the whole intent was a bullying escapade. I mean, no leader brings their people forward to say, hey, I'm the leader, and now I'm going to show you something different, or we're going to do something different. Every Secretary of Defense, as well as now this Secretary of War, has an opportunity when he goes into his office to set up a national military strategy, which is in writing. And some of those very gentlemen that were in that office today will help him draft it. So the purpose of bringing everyone in front, for him to be in front of everyone and then let the world see it, is just, to me, it seems as though a little insecurity maybe for a young man who is really in some big shoes.
Yeah, he's standing there. It was a television presentation. This is what I keep saying about these people. Everything is a TV show. That's all this was. That's all this was. This was, here I stand. I am the mighty Peter Hegseth, and I'm the Secretary of War leading the War Department, and sitting before me all of the people who work under me all of my generals. And Donald Trump has actually said before, my generals, when that's not how they should be referred to in this country.
No, and this would be laughable if he didn't say other things that were even more important. First, the fact that he's calling the Department of Defense the Department of War is significant and should be significant to people in this country because the word defense is actually in the Constitution, and that we are sworn to protect and defend the Constitution. So the fact that he put war, which he has not explained to anyone as yet, why war replaced defense, is something we should be concerned about. But also, in his speech, he pointed out a number of, I don't know, during his diatribe, he pointed out a number of things that we should be focused on. One is when he singled out shaving as a requirement for being in the Army. Now, most of us know about pseudofolliculitis. Mostly African Americans or men with curly hair have it. And for him to require all of them to cut and shave, smooth shave, will impact some of them. But that's something that's also can be overcome if the right people get in and fix that problem with shaving bumps. The thing is, when you have someone young who doesn't know what leadership really is, other than what he read in a book, who hasn't been challenged like the men he had in the auditorium today, you might get this. Would be the same if we put a private in charge of the NCO Corps. They may have a lot of great ideas, but those ideas aren't necessarily practical for the war, the battlefield, or for any war that we may engage in this country. Now, I want to say I am a retired military officer, and he placed a few challenges there for me, but nothing that I would be afraid of. Physical fitness, I've been out of the Army 25 years, so you can imagine I was fit when I was in the Army. Women being able to do whatever job that he wants to put out there, he's going to be surprised. Because if we know our jobs and you have a standard, they are going to meet the standard, along with DEI. That is something that didn't come from the military. The military is apolitical. DEI came from something else. If they take it away, no one is going to boo-hoo taking that away. Because once the standard is set, soldiers and officers in the United States military are going to meet those standards. So this was a feel-good moment, and I appreciated seeing it. But I don't want anyone to be afraid that the military is in trouble, as long as he does what he says. He said it's going to be meritorious, that it's going to be based on merit. And that's what my book is about. Being the best, but not being awarded or rewarded according to merit. So if he does that, we're happy.
This is a political story. Could have been an email. Officials balk at Hegseth's generals meeting. And in here, it said numerous defense officials were scratching their heads saying what the hell was going on. More like a press conference than briefing the generals, said one defense official. Could have been an email. 90 minutes, and it said it had the feel of a Hollywood production. Donald Trump comes out and tells these generals they can have a good time. The military code says you don't clap, you don't laugh, you don't speak, you just listen. I mean, that's also just what's so stupid here, okay? That, sure, there was a moment where some chuckled, some had went all sort of stuff, but anybody who understands the code of the military knows that when they're being addressed by the person occupying the White House, I don't call them the president, when they're being addressed by the Secretary of Defense, not Secretary of War, there's a code of conduct they are to abide by.
Yes, the military and the officers in it are apolitical. So it didn't matter what party the president was as he stands there. I mean, I'm saying that we're going to follow the orders. We're going to fight the nation's wars. This is not new. So this was a presentation, from my perspective, watching it, for those two gentlemen to feel good about the positions they're in, and maybe for the secretary to assert some authority over people who have really earned their rank.
Well, and also let's keep in mind, I mean, we were dealing with individuals who you've seen Hegseth fire a number of generals. And they've removed a lot of folks who have been in the chain of command because they want absolute loyalists and not people, they want loyalists to Trump, not people who are loyal to the Constitution.
Now that's going to be, he's going to have to do a lot of picking to make that happen. I mean, what he did as far as removing the senior generals, I don't know exactly what his thought process was.
He had none.
To us,
he had none.
But to us, it appears that he was removing people because of not their qualifications, not because of their merit, but because he wanted a gender neutral, race neutral leadership. That's what it appears to be. And that's just my opinion. Of course, it's not going to, when it comes down to the military, you're not going to have an all of one anything military. The military needs diversity, even though it may not need DEI. The military needs women service members because we're not going to be able to round out the force without them. That has been tried before. The people that are in the military that join as privates, that come in as lieutenants, are not getting any special privileges. So a lot of what the secretary is saying is just rumor and I guess what he's trying to project. As I said before, DEI is not a military invention. We want everyone in the military to have equal opportunity, which is guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. And we will execute the rules, the laws that are, and the orders of the president, because that's what they're sworn to do.
Well,
go ahead, sir.
Well, I hope the message at the retirement ceremony of General Mark Milley, is ringing in the ears of every person. For folks who don't remember, this is what he said.
We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that is America, and we're willing to die to protect it.
Well, I certainly hope, first of all, many people said we knew exactly who he was talking about when he made those comments, and I certainly hope that troops, these generals, that if they are given, frankly, an unlawful order that does not abide by the Constitution, I hope that they will reject Hegseth or even Trump in that order.
I believe that the officers, because they are sworn to an oath and we represent the people of this country, will do that.
Well, I hope so. He's putting our military officers in a very difficult position, but that's what we're dealing with. Lieutenant Colonel Cleella Davis, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Aggie Pride.
All right, I'm going to go to my panel here. I tell you, Larry, it's to sit here and listen to that idiot was just, I couldn't imagine being one of those generals having to endure the sheer stupidity of Pete Hegseth talking about fitness and shaving beards.
Roland, I think one of the things we had to contrast is former Secretary Austin and Hegseth. I think that's one. Second of all, I think people are missing something about this speech. It was very political. It was theater. But it's my belief that Hegseth is lining up to run for something, U.S. Senate or governor, et cetera, down the line. And I think that in a year or two, we'll find that out. But you're right. A lot of this speech didn't make any sense. You know, you watch it and you're trying to figure out exactly what is he talking about. And it could have been an email. And I think the other thing is not only the cost in terms of flying those individuals, in, but we really need to talk about the dangers in terms of the dangers it placed to the United States. You're taking individuals from various theaters throughout the world, and you're flying them into one place. I mean, it's like a Russia or a Chinese spy's dream. It makes absolutely no sense. But we have to, Americans really need to pay close attention to the language that's being used, that was used today. Because essentially, when you're not only in terms of, allegedly directing these generals and telling them what they should and shouldn't do. The other thing is with, President Trump is it seems really the language he's using about in terms of using the military in U.S. jurisdictions. And we're seeing that already, and we're going to see that increasingly. Another thing is when people keep talking about DEI, DEI includes veterans. So I work on a college campus. So when you talk about DEI program, that includes you as veterans. So and a lot of people don't always think about race and gender, but a lot of veterans, when it comes to programs, various programs like higher education and other places, they're included in those DEI programs. So when you keep talking about DEI programs, you're talking about veterans throughout the United States after they leave the U.S. military.
No, when they say DEI, they mean black people. They mean brown people, Tyler.
Exactly, and I think it's very dangerous. And I think, again, for black soldiers who have historically fought for freedoms that were denied at home, this right here is yet another reminder of that insult where our military is bending towards a white nationalist agenda. And I think it's very dangerous as we're talking about the politicization of our military. And I think it echoes an authoritarian government, which we are seeing day in and day out here in Washington. And as mentioned, our soldiers take an oath to the Constitution, not to political leaders. And for even him to say that we are removing anything social justice, I think it's not just rhetoric. It demands that our armed forces abandon the very values that they swear to uphold.
Mustafa.
I mean, for those of us who are students of history, authoritarian leaders have always needed theater to be able to garner the support of folks. So we just need to be clear. All you got to do is go back and take a look at Mussolini. You can look at Hitler. You can look at a number of folks throughout history who are now labeled as authoritarian leaders and how they used certain moments to be able to, one, show that they had power, two, to get people in a line, and three, to continue to feed sort of the rhetoric that would become commonplace in many of the societies that began to allow the erosion or the erasure of rights. So, we just need to be mindful of how history has played out and make sure that we are also paying attention to this moment and seeing if there are some things that kind of line up together.
Of course, Vice President Kamala Harris told people this was going to happen, how Trump was going to act and behave, and she reiterated that on Saturday night when she accepted her award from the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, ALC. Here is what she had to say when she picked up her Phoenix Award.
Good evening, everyone. Let me thank CBCF Foundation Chair, Congresswoman Terry Sewell, for that beautiful introduction. And I thank CBC Chair, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, and all of the CBC members, all of the award winners, and everyone gathered here for your long-standing leadership and support. As a former, and I consider myself lifetime member of CBC, I am deeply honored to receive this award. For more than half a century, the CBC has not only been the conscience of the Congress, but a conscience of America, fighting for opportunity, for equality, and for freedom. With your help, 75 million Americans stood with us last year on behalf of a stronger America. Stood with a belief in the promise of America. And today the CBC, in the tradition of its founders, confronts an unprecedented but not unfamiliar threat to that promise. The United States Congress has equal power to the executive branch in our constitutional government. And your work, then, is more important than ever, especially as your colleagues bend the knee and fail to uphold their constitutional duty. With each day, we are witnessing a president who has lined his own pockets and those of the super rich while he raises tariffs on the backs of working people, cuts SNAP and Medicaid, ignores science, ends the war on cancer, and deploys the United States military to the streets of America. And let us be clear, we predicted all that. But CBC, what I did not predict was the capitulation. The universities, law firms, media corporations, the titans of industry who have been so quick to kneel before a tyrant. But I'll tell you who refuses to capitulate: the people. When a president with a fragile ego couldn't take a joke and brought down the weight of the federal government to silence the voice of a citizen, folks spoke with their pocketbooks this week, and Jimmy Kimmel is now back on the air. And when Dr. Jamal Bryant issued a call to speak with your pocketbooks, the power of the people was also demonstrated. A time such as this demands that the leaders in this room remind the people of their power. Speak truth and speak with courage, even when you don't have all the answers. A time such as this demands that we win the midterms and enforce checks and balances on this unchecked, incompetent, unhinged president. Yesterday, I had the joy of visiting students at my alma mater, Howard University. You know. And while I was there, I remembered when I was their age, I got to Howard when I was 17. When I was their age, Ronald Reagan was president. And the extreme right wing was hatching the long-term agenda that is being swiftly implemented today, enhanced today by propaganda and misinformation. And recall, they played the long game, working for decades to take over state houses, gerrymander districts, stack the Supreme Court, and create the radical blueprint currently being used by this administration. As I have written, the current president is their vehicle, but the road was paved over decades by a hot and pungent brew. Ronald Reagan's celebrity, the belligerent discourse of Newt Gingrich, and the nativism of Pat Buchanan. CBC, we have some deep work to do. And first I would offer, we must prioritize immediacy. Focus on the immediate issues that people face, like the rising cost of groceries, housing, and childcare. Second, we cannot allow them to gaslight us by suggesting that the powerless and not the powerful are responsible for our predicament. And finally, please let's get over the savior complex, which suggests one individual can save us. Come on. Because Democrats, we have so many stars. We have so many stars, and many of them are in this room right now. You are the leaders who are up for the fight. You are leaders who have courage. You are leaders who speak truth. Leaders who know that at a time such as this, it demands one thing for sure. We must fight fire with fire. So CBC, let's get to work. Thank you.
The point she makes there, Mustafa, I think is a critical one. That is, it is a call. It is a charge. What needs to happen, and to understand that what we are looking at 2 blocks from where we sit right now is an individual who is a grave threat, an individual and a party that is a grave threat to the future of Black America.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I often use the phrase, you have power unless you give it away. You know, we've got to make sure that we are actually helping to build power. So the vice president talked about, you know, a multitude of leaders are needed. You know, our dear sister Ella Baker often, you know, made sure that we understood that there's not just one person who has a responsibility, but that also means that we have to have an understanding of the dynamics and the needs that exist inside of our communities. And all the folks that are sitting in that dinner, I hope that they are actually spending time on the ground with folks. So yes, we have this threat that's going on, but we have to build up our people and make sure they understand that each and every one of us is a leader and that we can make change in our own communities. And then by coming together, we can build, you know, this coalition that is so necessary. But often we don't want to spread the power around. So I think that has to be a part of addressing what's going on by the person who's now sitting in the White House and who are the folks who are running these agencies. So we have the opportunity. We just got to make sure that we're taking advantage of it.
Tyler?
Yeah, I would also say it's something that, you know, everyone in that room, you know, all knows. And I think the strategy is how we take that out of that room, but take it to communities so they're able to understand and comprehend that this is a reminder to us all that our resistance must be paired with vision, and we must have people who aren't scared to fight fire with fire, because we all know that fear exists, but it does, and we know it's real. But because we have to understand that we move with that fear in service of something that's bigger, that we know that we're fighting for, that we know that we're fighting for freedom and liberation for all Black people. We deserve not only to survive, but to thrive. And in order to do that, it requires an unafraid leadership, willing to dream, to act out boldly, and to stand 10 toes down. But it requires us to move not only in those spaces, but take it back to the community, to those who may not, you know, hear that type of conversation every single day.
Larry?
Roland, really quickly here. She said something that I think a lot of people miss, and she made the connection between Newt Gingrich, she mentioned him, the contract with America, she didn't say that, and Project 2025. For folks who don't understand how we got here, go back and look at the contract with America. She mentions a few of the Pat Buchanan, et cetera. It's been building to this. We didn't just arrive here. Newt Gingrich and the Gingrich Revolution is part of how we got to Project 2025. So I encourage people to go out and check out some of the, you know, go back and look at the contract in America and impact on, you know, policy in the United States. And remember that, you know, Black people have, you know, encountered challenges like this in the past, and the CBC has always led the way. And we need to continue to see them to reach those heights again.
Absolutely. All right, folks, got to go to a break. We come back. Republicans lie about a Supreme Court seat in Pennsylvania. We'll discuss that next. Also, man, did Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett clap back on Byron Donalds to his face about his youthful indiscretions. And Dallas pastor Brian Carter weighs in on white Christian nationalism here in the United States. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
In my book, The Power to Persist, I share 8 simple yet powerful habits, a blueprint for transforming obstacles into opportunities and pressure into purpose. Just as they fueled my rise from the South Side of Chicago to a national stage. And on the Power to Persist podcast, I bring that blueprint to life.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, we talk about the principles of mindset, strategy, and execution. This week, we're adding a fourth, faith. You're going to hear from a mother and daughter duo who are helping thousands of Black women build wealth, all through their faith.
You are more than you can ever imagine. Not just obtaining things to show that, but seeing yourself.
Making your faith work for you. That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Paula J. Parker. Truly proud of the Proud Family.
I am Tommy Davidson. I play Oscar on Proud Family, Louder and Proud.
Hi, I'm Jo Marie Payton, voice of Sugar Mama on Disney's Louder and Prouder, Disney Plus. And I'm with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
Well, GOP Political Action Committee in Pennsylvania are sending out mailers claiming that state Supreme Court justices in that state illegally gerrymandered districts to help Democrats win. That's not quite what their role is. The postcard sent by the Commonwealth Leaders Fund, a political action committee tied to Pennsylvania's richest man, Jeffrey Yazd, features a map with oddly shaped districts circled in red. It's one of several recent mailers and digital ads that have sparked outrage among Democrats who call it a deceptive tactic in this year's high-stakes judicial elections. Now, the map pictured, y'all, do y'all have the map? Okay, all right, fine. The map pictured wasn't drawn by the state Supreme Court. Who drew it? Republican legislators. Yeah. Now, the maps were struck down by the state Supreme Court, calling it an unconstitutional gerrymander. But you see how they're trying to play the game. Joining us right now, Nydia Graves, lead Democrat leader for One Pennsylvania, a civic organization. Glad to have you here. So here's the thing that's crazy, and people need to understand why this matters. Because Republicans have been pissed off as the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court has ruled against their shameful antics for the last several years, including the 2020 election, when Trump still complains that he felt that the state Supreme Court just created law when we were in the middle of COVID.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Great. So, yeah, I just want to kind of set the stage because I know a lot of people aren't in Pennsylvania. Jeffrey S. is a Pennsylvanian. He's actually an out-of-state billionaire, but currently resides in Pennsylvania. He is a Wall Street billionaire, and he lives a little bit outside of Philadelphia. He's increased his wealth by about 400% since COVID, and he's now worth $65 billion. He is a major investor in TikTok and a member of Trump's inner billionaire circle, advocating to defund public schools and pushing a far-right agenda. I think it's important to know he's a TikTok investor because we used to hear Donald Trump talk a lot about shutting down TikTok, and now we don't hear anything about that. And I think that's attributed to a meeting between Trump and Jeffrey S.
Yeah, I mean, Trump hated TikTok until Yazd said, hey, I want to buy it. He's like, hey, TikTok is all something great. But what they're doing is, again, they want to try, they need to lie in order to get people fired up. So they want to pin the blame on the maps on Democrats, but it was Republicans.
Yes, that has been really intense to see because Jeffrey S. is using dark money groups to influence PA's Supreme Court election and precisely to do things like have the courts gerrymandered to grab more power for Republicans. So his latest front is called Citizens for Term Limits, and it's structured so that the public can't really see how many millions that he's pumping in to the Supreme Court race. And this is exactly how billionaires like Jeffrey S. and even Elon Musk rig the system. They hide their spending behind these political action committees and use their wealth to drown out the voices of everyday voters. So we have these mailers coming in from the Commonwealth Leaders Fund. And they have maps which are a lie. The maps that's showing on the mailers are the maps that the Republicans actually drew out and proposed in 2018 that got struck down by this Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has really had freedom for Pennsylvanians in mind, and the congressional districts that we got out of that was a lot more fair. I'm from a small town in Pennsylvania called Coatesville, Pennsylvania. It's in the middle of Chester County, and it's a Black neighborhood in the richest county in Pennsylvania. And you can see on the gerrymandered map prior to 2018, you can see Coatesville and South Coatesville intentionally taking out of Chester County's congressional district and put into Amish country to limit the power of the Black voters in this small Pennsylvania town. This is a map that the Republicans drew, that the Supreme Court has corrected and upheld fairer maps. Now we have fair representation in Chester County and throughout Pennsylvania because of the Supreme Court's call to fairness.
How is the Supreme Court race playing? First of all, for people, when is the election? Is it this November or is it 26?
No, the Supreme Court election is Tuesday, November 4th, and the polls are open.
And how many seats are up?
There are 3 retention seats. So the Supreme Court retention is a yes or no vote, and it's a nonpartisan vote. So it's not like a traditional vote for a Democrat or Republican. It's not listed, but the 3 Supreme Court justices are Democrats that are up for retention. And it's a simple vote, yes or no. And so that is going to likely be on the back of your ballot in Pennsylvania because they can sometimes get buried in the ballot. So it's important to vote yes because there's 7 people on the PA Supreme Court. And even if one of these Supreme Court justices lose their seat, it could throw off the balance of power in Pennsylvania's court system. And we've had a very fair court so far. They've done things like protect the right to unionize, protect tenants, and protect workers. And so we definitely have had a fair Supreme Court, and they've been our last line of defense against our United States Supreme Court. So we call it SCOPA here, and we say not to be confused with SCOTUS, so people can understand when we talk about the PA Supreme Court versus the U.S. Supreme Court. Are
you seeing high engagement among African Americans regarding the state Supreme Court races?
Typically, people aren't very involved in judicial races in general. We anticipated, because Jeffrey had put a lot of money into the 2023 Supreme Court race, that there would be a high influx of spending. And so an organization like mine, One Pennsylvania, has been going to our chapter meetings and talking to people about the Supreme Court race. We also have organized a block by block program where people talk to their neighbors about elections. And so we've been talking to people at their doors about the Supreme Court race because it's just that important to us.
All right, then. Well, we certainly hope folks do get engaged and understand that keeping Republicans from controlling state Supreme Court are so important because, again, we've seen what happened in Wisconsin, Ohio, North Carolina, how when Republicans have controlled the state Supreme Court, Texas as well, they have ruled against the interests of Black people.
Absolutely. And I think what happened in Wisconsin, Elon Musk made that the most expensive judicial race in United States history. And Musk said specifically that he was interested in redistricting in Wisconsin, and that's what got him involved in the race. We see what's happening in Texas, and we know that this is billionaires' playbook to take a lot of the money and continue to have wealth disparity. They want to have so many courts and no checks and balances so they can continue to deregulate, to privatize, and make sure that specifically poor and working class Black people do not have power in this country. This is a specific playbook that comes out of the Reagan era.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks. Got to go to break. We come back. The Crockett Chronicles. Man, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, let's just say she just smacked the help Byron Donalds. Wait till I show y'all. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Charlie Kirk, gun violence in America, and how the nation has responded in the week since.
In many ways, it's become very, very toxic, a witch hunt, really attacking anyone who's not mourning this man.
What we're seeing right now is the weaponization of selective compassion and people who so often don't say anything about the crisis of gun violence.
We're going to dig into all of it, what this means for the state of gun violence and the state of free speech. You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
This is Tamala Mann.
And this is David Mann. And you're watching Roland Martin
Unfiltered.
All right, folks. So when Congress was voting on the this D.C. bill that dealt with the issue of crime, was introduced by Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. He took to the floor of the House to share why he thought this bill should be passed. Well, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, let's just say she had a few words for him, saying, you're mighty hypocritical, Byron. Here's what he said, and then what she said.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong support of my bill, H.R. 4922, the D.C. Crimes Act. Now, in reference to what the gentleman was just talking about, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the United States Constitution is quite clear. It grants Congress the power to exercise exclusive jurisdiction over the federal district, which all Americans know now is Washington, D.C., and it is the nation's capital. That is in the Constitution that was ratified by the several states. Congress does have the constitutional authority to regulate activities within the federal district. So when it is said that somehow Congress is now eroding local control, that is simply not true. Any local powers by the D.C. City Council have been granted to the D.C. City Council by Congress. And Congress is the seat of authority when it comes to the federal enclave. It was also talked about Florida's laws. Well, let's be very clear. Florida has established itself as a beacon of law and order and making sure that our citizens are safe throughout all of our jurisdictions. So if there are some abilities for some measures of flexibility, Florida has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that it knows how to keep its people safe. Very different with respect to the D.C. City Council and with respect to crime, escalated crime here in the nation's capital. Our great nation's capital has been plagued by violence, destruction, disorder for far too long, and decades of weak pro-crime leadership has turned this once great city into a dystopia. I would remind my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that some of their colleagues have been victimized by the crime here in Washington, D.C. Rather than prioritizing the safety of law-abiding and protecting the lives of innocent residents and visitors, district officials have actively facilitated dysfunction and chaos through their progressive soft-on-crime policies. Instead of addressing the clear epidemic of youth crime in the city, the DC City Council increased the age of youth offenders to individuals 24 years old and younger, meaning fully grown legal adults in the District of Columbia can receive sentences meant for children. This is simply insane. And that is why I introduced the DC Crimes Act, which lowers the definition of youth from under the age of 25 to under the age of 18, removes the ability of judges to sentence youth offenders below mandatory minimum guidelines, and requires the DC Attorney General to establish a public website containing much needed statistics on juvenile crime in DC. The Trump administration's efforts have shown that lawlessness is a choice. And it is time for Congress to step up, adhere to our constitutional duty, and firmly address crime in the nation's capital. For the citizens of DC, I would say, we wish your council did this the right way, but they did not, and we will act. I yield back the balance of my time.
As I sat and listened to the beginning of this debate, my heart simply broke. And many people know me for being able to do alliterations, and all I could think about was amnesia allows adolescent accountability avoidance agility from across the aisle. So work with me for a second. Imagine being a young man born to Jamaican and Panamanian parents who messed up not once but twice. Imagine standing in front of a judge with your whole future hanging in the balance, and instead of prison, you are given a promise of mercy. Your record gets wiped clean. You get a second chance at life. Now imagine taking that promise and turning it into promotion. You go to college, you get a job, and even become a member of Congress. That's what redemption looks like. That's what America is supposed to be about. And that is exactly the story of the next wannabe governor from Florida. As a young man, he went through pretrial diversion for misdemeanor marijuana possession. As an adult, yet younger than 24, he was charged with and ultimately placed on probation for felony bribery charges, which ultimately were 2 expunged. He was given a 3rd chance, and now he's the face of a bill that would not afford young people in Washington, D.C. the same opportunities afforded to him. Let me be real. If he had grown up under Donald Trump's America or under the very D.C. crime bill he's pushing today, he wouldn't be standing here as a member of Congress. He'd still be living with the weight of those charges. So let's call this what it is, opportunities for me, but not for thee. He climbed the ladder of redemption, and now he's yanking it right up from the D.C. youth. See, most of us were taught to lift as you climb, but clearly some have forgotten to lift as they climb, and now they are committed to telling the next generation to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. I will not sit quiet while a man who was saved by grace turns around and tries to snatch grace away from others. If we're going to be real about crime, about communities,
time
about...
has expired.
I'd like to yield for an additional minute, please.
The gentlewoman is recognized.
About second chances and even 3rd chances, then it needs to start with us looking in the mirror and remembering that even the author of this bill has a story too before he tries to lecture DC on safety. And it would be complete hypocrisy to have, hypothetically, someone convicted of 34 felonies to lecture DC on what to do with youthful offenders who have been scientifically shown not to have fully developed brains under the age of 25. Especially if said multi-count convicted felon was in his 70s when he was convicted. What would be his excuse? Because his brain would be fully developed, and with that, I will yield back.
Well, Tyler, seems like somebody had to remind Byron Donalds about his past and saying, hold up, player. If you didn't have any mercy, your ass wouldn't be standing here kissing Trump's ass in the House.
Absolutely, as the saying go, she ate that with left no crumbs behind. And I think it's very clear that the same folks who go around arguing about crime is the same ones who it's on the menu per se. Like, and it's just crazy to me how clownish Byron Donalds is. And instead of trying to tell DC what to do, first and foremost, I would say free DC, DC statehood. And I totally agree with Congresswoman Crockett's righteous anger, because true community safety is investing in the Breathe Act, investing in violence prevention and mental health and economic opportunity. And yet this Congress is doing the exact opposite, but trying to patrol and control what the citizens of DC and what safety means to them. And so I totally agree. And Congresswoman Crockett, yeah, she ate that. She clocked this tea.
I mean, Larry, I mean, you can't make this up, how hypocritical the help Byron Donalds is to stand there knowing full well what he did before he turned 18.
And Roland, I'm glad she highlighted that. I knew this story and have known about it, obviously, being in the state. And listen, this goes back to my point about communication style. You see the way she dissected him, roasted, and then put him in the oven and left him in there. And so, yeah, it's hypocritical. I'm a former Washingtonian. You know, I've talked about it before, and my heart aches for the young black males that if this becomes law, are they going to suffer and never have the opportunity for first and second chances? Roland, let me highlight, you just heard Hegseth earlier talk about giving grown men who make mistakes in the armed services and making sure that doesn't follow from the rest of their career. But they are not interested in extending that same kind of grace to young black and brown males and females in Washington, D.C., which is hypocritical.
You know, it's just, Mustafa, I mean, these folks are amazing. And for him to stand there and talk about how proud he is of his bill and, okay, first of all, you know what? In case the folks missed it, let's just hear Crockett lay out again exactly the nefarious activities Byron Donalds was engaged in before he was 18.
As I sat and listened to the beginning of this debate, my heart simply broke. And many people know me for being able to do alliterations, and all I could think about was amnesia allows adolescent accountability avoidance agility from across the aisle. So work with me for a second. Imagine being a young man born to Jamaican and Panamanian parents who messed up not once but twice. Imagine standing in front of a judge with your whole future hanging in the balance, and instead of prison, you are given a promise of mercy. Your record gets wiped clean. You get a second chance at life. Now imagine taking that promise and turning it into promotion. You go to college, you get a job, and even become a member of Congress. That's what redemption looks like. That's what America is supposed to be about. And that is exactly the story of the next wannabe governor from Florida. As a young man, he went through pretrial diversion for misdemeanor marijuana possession. As an adult, yet younger than 24, he was charged with and ultimately placed on probation for felony bribery charges, which ultimately were 2 expunged. He was given a 3rd chance, and now he's the face of a bill that would not afford young people in Washington, D.C. the same opportunities afforded to him. Let me be real. If he had grown up under Donald Trump's America or under the very D.C. crime bill he's pushing today, he wouldn't be standing here as a member of Congress. He'd still be living with the weight of those charges. So let's call this what it is, opportunities for me, but not for thee. He climbed the ladder of redemption, and now he's yanking it right up from the D.C. youth. See, most of us were taught to lift as you climb, but clearly some have forgotten to lift as they climb, and now they are committed to telling the next generation to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. I will not sit quiet while a man who was saved by grace turns around and tries to snatch grace away from others. If we're going to be real about crime, about communities,
Gentlelady's time has expired.
I'd like to yield for an additional minute, please.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
About second chances and even 3rd chances, then it needs to start with us looking in the mirror and remembering that even the author of this bill has a story too before he tries to lecture D.C. on safety. And it would be complete hypocrisy to have, hypothetically, someone convicted of 34 felonies to lecture D.C. on what to do with youthful offenders who have been scientifically shown not to have fully developed brains under the age of 25. especially if said multi-count convicted felon was in his 70s when he was convicted? What would be his excuse? Because his brain would be fully developed. And with that, I will yield back.
Mustafa.
What do you say to that? I guess we start with, skin folk and kinfolk. You know, kinfolk actually focus on how do we help to heal our community? How do we make sure that our community has the resources they need, especially young people, to navigate all the challenges that are placed in front of them? Skin folk forget where they come from. Skin folk also stand up in front of America and lie to America. They forget the fact that they come from a state that is in the top 20 for murders. They forget that they also had 1,066 murders in the last statistics that we have in front of us, and they had 30 mass shootings. So kinfolk love our community. They do everything in their ability to make sure that we have what we need to move from surviving to thriving, while skinfolk just want to be able to fill their pockets and to get a little bit of the master's power.
And that's why I call these blackface MAGA folks the help. All right, going to break. When we come back, Pastor Brian Carter, Concord Baptist Church in Dallas, talks about white Christian nationalism. But I'm also remind y'all what this crazy-ass white pastor said a couple years ago in Texas about slavery. You need to understand how crazy these people are. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to contribute via Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. See it bottom left-hand corner. Also, that's for credit cards as well. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Of course, check some money orders. Make a payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Back in a moment.
Said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
This week on the other side of change.
Charlie Kirk, gun violence in America, and how the nation has responded in the week since.
In many ways, it's become very, very toxic, a witch hunt, really attacking anyone who's not mourning this man.
What we're seeing right now is the weaponization of selective compassion, and people will so often don't say anything about the crisis of gun violence.
We're going to dig into all of it, what this means for the state of gun violence and the state of free speech. You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. An hour of living history with Dr. Richard Mariba Kelsey, thinker, builder, author, and one of the most important and impactful elders in the African American community. He reflects on his full and rich life and shares his incomparable wisdom about our past, present, and future.
African genius is saying that my uncle was a genius, my brother was a genius, my neighbor was a genius. I think we ought to drill that in ourselves and move ahead rather than believing that I got it.
That's next on the Black Table, here on the Black Star Network.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're kicking off our series on Entrepreneur's Journey, Putting in the Work. Join us on this week's episode as we talk about what does it mean to start your business and get into a career that really means something to you.
It was uncertain was I was going to make it or fail, but I was determined to show up every single day and to keep pushing.
You know, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want.
That's this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
Hi, my name is Freddie Ricks. I'm from Houston, Texas.
My name is Sharon Williams. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Right now, I'm rolling with Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
All right, you've got some really racist white preachers out here. And they can run around, they can talk about how Charlie Kirk loved Jesus Christ and all that sort of stuff, but he made a lot of racist comments, and these things happen. So what I'm about to show you took place a couple of years ago. So this white man, his name is Mike Keller, and he was delivering a sermon that was pretty crazy. He was speaking at Fair Park Baptist Church. Y'all got down here. Where's Fair Park? That y'all don't have the city and state in here, which I don't understand why. So I need y'all to find that and tell me, so we tell people where this is. Fair Park Baptist Church. He was a guest speaker, and this is what he had to say.
This is how you change America, okay? In my humble opinion. Hey, think about it. 150 years ago, or 200 years ago, when the blacks were slaves, did they ever go to Washington, D.C. and have a rally 200 years ago to protest against slavery? Did they? No. What did they do? Well, a lot of good people in the plantations would say, hey, it's wintertime. Let us help build a church for you, dear folks. And they loved them and taught them how to read so they can read the Bible. And here's what the blacks did about 150 years ago. They humbled themselves. They prayed. They sought God's face and they turned from their wicked ways. And God made slavery illegal through several white presidents, right? It worked, didn't it? They didn't protest. Maybe there's a place for protest, I don't know, but there's sometimes that was a wise pastor that warned his flock.
Okay, did he say did the slaves not lead a protest? Run it again.
This is how you change America, okay? In my humble opinion. Hey, think about it. 150 years ago, or 200 years ago, when the blacks were slaves, did they ever go to Washington, D.C. and have a rally 200 years ago to protest against slavery? Did they? No. What did they do? Well, a lot of good people in the plantations would say, hey, it's wintertime. Let us help build a church for you, dear folks. And they loved them and taught them how to read so they can read the Bible. And here's what the blacks did about 150 years ago. They humbled themselves. They prayed. They sought God's face and they turned from their wicked ways. And God made slavery illegal through several white presidents, right? It worked, didn't it? They didn't protest. Maybe there's a place for protest, I don't know. But there's sometimes that was a wise pastor that warned his flock.
The church released this statement. Fair Park Baptist Church affirms that racism and slavery are wrong, sinful, and violate the scriptures. As a part of our faith, we would never condone slavery or tolerate any kind of prejudice against people of color. Did y'all hear anybody in that church object?
No.
Did y'all see what I'm saying? See, this is what we're talking about here. Did nobody object in the church? Did nobody say, that's some nonsense you saying right here? Y'all see what I'm talking about? So this is, when we're talking about white Christian nationalism, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the stuff that gets preached. Now, Fair Park Baptist Church, y'all, is located in Fort Worth, Texas. What's Fort Worth, Texas? It's the last major county in Texas that's a red county. Okay? So we see these things, we hear these things over and over and over again. So here's Pastor Brian Carter. He leads Concord Baptist Church in Dallas. He was speaking in Tulsa a couple weeks ago, talking about white Christian nationalism. Listen.
Some people would rather see you in chains than to see you changed. Some people would rather see you living below than to live above and in your full potential. Some people don't want to see you free, don't want to see you liberated, don't want to see you living in all the power and the potential that God has called you to have on your life. And sad to say, sometimes your own family can't see all that God has called you to do. Some people want to see you in chains, don't want to see you changed. You don't believe me? Looking around at the current administration. It's trying to put us back in chains, trying to take us back to pre-civil rights era. They are fighting every legislative gain that we've made over the last 70 years, trying to limit economic opportunities, eliminating DEI and other opportunities for us to get at the table, trying to limit freedom of speech, trying to limit the Fair Housing Act, trying to limit and do voter suppression, trying to minimize and water down the vote of black people. There they are, trying to remove every gain that we've made and then have the nerve to talk about merit and put the most unqualified, disqualified people and cronies in position, talking about you're doing merit. You talk about they want to see us in chains. They don't want to see us chained. They are trying to limit everything that we've gained over 70 years, trying to take us all the way back by whitewashing history, saying slavery benefited us. Listen, we were already benefited in Africa. Black excellence is not something new. Your white supremacy didn't bless us. We were blessed by God from the foundations of the earth. They want to put us in chains, not see change. But what they don't know, we not new to this, we true to this. And we will show up, we will strategize and mobilize and educate and vote. We will not have it. The more you hold us back, the more we'll rise up. This is the world that we live in. White Christian nationalism growing by the day. An arena full of people trying to make a martyr out of a man that was obviously a racist and divisive. Some people don't want to see you liberated. They want to take us back in time, but you and I must keep doing the work that God has called us to do. We must keep raising up our own, keep investing in black people, keep showing up to vote, keep serving on boards, keep raising our kids, keep raising our schools, keep raising our communities. We can do a lot by ourselves.
The reason this is so important, and the reason we are showing y'all, and let me be real clear, all y'all are out there, if your pastor has been speaking on white Christian nationalism, send us an email. Go to RolandSMartin.com, click contact, and send us an email. Y'all can send us the clip, y'all can send us all of that. But I need you to understand, we're showing this for a reason, because we need more and more and more preachers who are speaking against white Christian nationalism. You need to understand what is going on. You need to be aware of how pervasive this is. You need to understand and watching out for what's happening. You had so many people, Larry, who were posting things such as, well, if your pastor didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk, you should leave that church. And really what they were talking about, this was the Sunday after he was shot and killed, if he wasn't praising Charlie Kirk. You had some black folks who were posting on social media that they left some churches because you had some white pastors, the game that they were playing. But we need to understand what these people are doing and why they are doing it and what they're trying to do. They are absolutely mixing Christianity and MAGA politics together. And they're trying to position this whole thing as if the people who are lovers of Christ can only be MAGA. Charlie Kirk literally said, you cannot be a Christian and be a Democrat. You have that crazy MAGA preacher out of Tennessee who literally said, if you are in this church and you vote for a Democrat, get out right now. This is who these people are, and we must understand this is their agenda.
These people have attempted to distort the gospel, Roland. Let's be clear about that. And for people watching, let's remember, we talked about this intersection of violence and white Christian nationalism. The KKK is a great example. And throughout history, that pastor in Fort Worth who talked about, talk about our formerly enslaved ancestors as if they didn't matter, and also be connected to the white savior concept. But the reality is that these folks will continue to use religion as a tool to beat black folks with. And that's the bottom line. And, Roland, I was raised AME, and I'm used to hearing, pastors going to pulpit and talk truth to power. And so we need to continue to do that. We need all black leaders, whether it's Christian or Muslim, et cetera, to highlight the hypocrisy we're seeing in the United States and the danger it is to black folks in this country. Because what we're going to see over the next couple months and years is more extreme violence, and we need to be prepared for that. But you can't use religion, particularly Christianity, as a shield when, once again, like I said, you're using it as a tool to harm black folks.
Mustafa, we dropped a video on our YouTube channel. We dropped it 3 weeks ago. I was in the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic, and the video is Black Pastors Torch Unsettling Sanitization of Kirk's Hateful Legacy. We've already crossed 1 million views on that particular video. Come on, switch. We already go. We crossed 1 million views on that video. And what we've been doing is, so what we're going to do is we're going to be actually putting together a different video and adding to it. The conversation we had yesterday with that white pastor from Georgia was so powerful because he called out, listen, in 10 hours, less than that, we're approaching 100,000 that video as well. I think that's going to take off as well. And I really hope people who missed yesterday's show really go to our YouTube channel and listen to the full conversation that we had with Pastor Deese. This is the video, White Preacher Tears into Right-Wing Embrace of White Christian Nationalism. Folks, go watch this. Go check this out. 71,000, almost 72,000 views in 6 hours, because this is what we're contending with. These people want to berate us with Christianity, and they are actually convincing some of these crazy black folks who say, oh, no, they love Jesus. Well, you can't keep saying you love Jesus, but you're against the policies of Jesus.
Right. These are the same folks that, use that type of language, but they forget these are the same individuals, their grandchildren and great-grandchildren, who used to watch on Saturday night as people were being lynched and then come sit in the pews on Sunday, and ministers knowing that individuals who were in their audience played a role. Not just in the subjugation of black folks, but actually in watching black bodies burn and be castrated. So let's be real about religion in America and the role that it has played with devastating effects in our community. I appreciate what you are doing and others bringing forward the truth, because real spirituality doesn't allow space for lies or misinformation or disinformation. It doesn't allow individuals to stand in the pulpit and not realize that there were over 250 revolts or uprisings by our people. We did not sit idly by and just accept slavery or being enslaved people. We continue to fight back. It's not just about Denmark VC or Nat Turner, both of those important stories, but there was many others who pushed back. So our preachers, our ministers, our imams, have a responsibility to push back against this. And we have a responsibility also to support the individuals who are standing up in this moment, because they're going to take some heat, and they should not have to take that heat without having the understanding that we are going to wrap our arms around them and protect them. So that's what being community is all about. And that's why these voices that you're bringing forward and others are so incredibly important in this moment.
Tyler, I mean, this is, folks need to understand what these right-wingers are doing. You see how they're going crazy over Bad Bunny. They're like, oh, we're in the middle of a Christian revival. No, we are in the middle of white, right-wing, conservative, evangelical Christians prostituting the word to fulfill their political desire.
Absolutely, and let this be a clarion call to more churches and faith leaders to return to the prophetic role of speaking truth to power, because too many pulpits have become quiet when our communities need courage. And this is a reminder that Jesus wasn't polite in the face of injustice. He was a table overturner. He confronted systems of exploitation, hypocrisy head on. And yet today, I think, we could sometimes tiptoe around politics and afraid to offend while people suffer under racism and poverty and violence. And the gospel is not about comfort for the powerful, but it's really about the liberation for the oppressed. And the church must reclaim its radical voice. And I think what you're doing and what many pastors are doing to confront what's happening is important. And as I said before, the church is in a moment where we must reclaim our radical voice and our radical love for the liberation of the oppressed, as Jesus would do.
Absolutely, that has to happen. All right, y'all, quick break. We come back. Time for our marketplace segment, our shopblackstarnetwork.com marketplace segment. Back in a moment.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're kicking off our series on entrepreneur's journey, putting in the work. Join us on this week's episode as we talk about what does it mean to start your business and get into a career that really means something to you.
It was uncertain was I was going to make it or fail, but I was determined to show up every single day and to keep pushing.
If you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want.
That's this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
For all of y'all who love to wash your car, that is not me. I'm just letting y'all know. I am not spending all that damn time trying to wash a car. But the creator of 5W Auto Cleansing Accessories provides high-performance cleaning products that deliver showroom results without compromising your environment. Rick Potts is CEO of 5W Auto, joining us from Cerritos, California. Glad to have you here. So let's talk about it. First of all, let me be real clear, okay? All right. I know there are people, I post this all the time. I know there are people out there, they love, my homeboy called me, he was like, man, I'm going to wash my car he said, I'm old school, I got to wash it myself. I said, that's way too much time, bruh, on the car. I will go hit some golf balls, but knock yourself out. I will pull into a car wash. So let's take us through. So first of all, guys, so do you still wash your own car?
I do indeed.
Why?
I do indeed.
Like, what do you, what does it do for you? I'm just asking, what's key?
It's muse for me, Roland. As far as if you're stressed out, it's a way to calm down. It's a way to relax. If you've been to a tunnel car wash, it's a way to eliminate complaints. It's to get the results that you want. And if you're environmentally speaking like us, saving 40 gallons of water to do so makes all the sense in the world to us.
So how long does it take you to wash your car?
I wash it every week, 35 to 40 minutes.
Every week?
Every week.
Man, please. Listen, If I wash my damn car once every 3 months, that's a miracle. I ain't paying no attention to that car. That's just me. That's just me.
Roland, on top of all that too, there's a bit of exercise to it. You know, listen, we're not here to deceive anybody. I mean, there's a little bit of hard work and exercise to it, but you know, I think once you get your car on a weekly regimen, it gets easier. And you know, I say 40 minutes, I can probably do it in 27 minutes if I'm really being efficient about my time.
That's why I go walk 9 holes. I get the exercise. All right, so let's talk about here. All right, so we got tire shine. We've got waterless wash and wax.
Yes.
And then we've got wheel cleaner. All right, take us through these products. What makes your products so different and unique?
Roland, to answer that, it's a system. And then when I say a system, you know, if you look at those bottles are color coded. We're not trying to confuse the public. Red.
All right, so we got orange, we got blue.
Yes, sir.
We got red.
Yes. And so what makes that system different is, listen, when you get the towels with those bottles, there's no confusion. When you pick up those bottles, you pick them up with confidence. You pick them up with, hey, listen, if I need to clean the wheels, I clean the wheels. If I need to do the body, the blue bottles for the body, and then we clean it up with the tire shine. As far as it's kind of like, hey, let's put the finishing touches on it. So, and when I say the differentiator, Roland, to your question, essentially when you take those 5 bottles that we have, minus the odor eliminator, if you're out in your front driveway, and you say you're down in Houston, and Houston is having a water restriction in your area, and you want to wash your car, if they shut down, let's just say hypothetically, the water at your tunnel car wash, what are you going to do? So having that as a backdrop, we're in Los Angeles as far as LA County, drought conditions, super drought conditions here, and it's getting more and more prescient to say, listen, we need to find ways to conserve water, and this system allows you to do that.
Okay, so it allows you to conserve water. So you're calling this water saving, eco-friendly. Okay, walk me through how is this water saving? So if I so when it's time to hold on one second, which one is here? Blue. All right, so let's see. So when it's time to wash the car, I ain't got no water. So you're saying that if I'm not using any water, I can use the waterless wash and wax to wash the car using no water.
Absolutely. That 16-ounce bottle, Roland, I can clean my car, a mid-size sedan, with 4 ounces of that magic.
Hold up. You can wash the whole car with 4 ounces of this. So this is 60 ounces. So you're saying no water, you can wash your car 4 times with this one bottle.
That's correct.
Okay.
4 times a month. So that 4 times a month on that, we call that RTU, which is ready to use. So 4 ounces of that once a week, 4 times a month. You're saving 40 gallons of water. It's 160 gallons a month.
So okay. So what are you doing? I mean, are you doing the 4 ounces into something else? Are you putting are the 4 ounces going on the towel here? I mean, just walk me through that process.
Good question. So
let me be real clear. I ain't gonna do it, but somebody watching gonna do it. I'm just letting you. Ro ain't washing nothing. But go ahead.
Good point. Traditionally at our shops, we had a shop over in Beverly Hills that we started in 2016. And we shut that shop down in 2022 to stop essentially washing the cars and sell this product. And so, Roland, what you would get is if you started from your hood and worked from your hood, say down to that front quarter panel, and you spray this product on, you let it sit there. This product, it's registered and trademarked at the U.S. Patent Office. So obviously there's something in it to say, listen, you know what? We are not here to hurt the car. We're not here to hurt the user. And we're definitely not here to hurt the environment. And if you let this product sit there for 30, 40 seconds, you will literally see this product breaking the light to medium soil down on your car. You wipe in horizontal lines, and you wipe from top to bottom. If you just work your way around the car as far as to that front door, the back quarter panel, essentially, and you work your way around to the other side doing the same thing from top to bottom, spray this magic on there as far as the wash plus wax, and you let it work. It'll break down the dirt. We use quality microfiber towels. Roland, that's really important. These chemicals, these formulas, and these towels work together. You have to use essentially together to get those professional grade results.
Okay, so how you come up with this? Like, were you sitting around going, damn, we using way too much water? Or were you saying, man, I'm tired of my hands shriveling up because of all this water? What happened?
My uncle was a biochemist at ExxonMobil, and he used to come out from Houston to I live in LA now, and he used to come out for the summers, and he used to be like, "Hey Rick, you know what? Let's clean your car." And he had a something that wasn't exactly environmentally safe, I will admit, but he said, "Hey Rick, if you really want to get serious with this, get you a chemist, get your own formulations, run it, test it." And essentially, it can be done. But obviously, if you're doing something of what I'm bringing and using against your car, you can't do that at retail. As far as it's not consumer safe.
Now, when you looking at your uncle saying, "Bruh, you want me to go get a chemist about washing a car? Are you serious?" Or were you saying, "Dog, it's soap, water, and a sponge"?
Believe me, it wasn't soap, water, and a sponge he was using, but essentially it was something that kind of stuck, Roland, seriously. And as it was something that stuck, I worked in corporate America, I worked in corporate finance, but on the weekends I would clean cars, and I would get the comments and I would get the results, and they're like, "Man, why, your car is always this, your car is always that." And it's just something that stuck, Roland. I left corporate America as far as corporate finance, and I said, "Listen, start my own company," and here we are. I mean, we're still at it.
All right, so we washed, so 4 ounces. So this bottle here will get us 4 washes. Now, after y'all wash the car, I ain't gonna say we, what do we go to next? We go to the tire shine, or do we go to the
wheel cleaner?
Okay, all right, so the wheel cleaner is next. All right.
Very good. There's a cadence. So we would start with the body, right? Number 2, the cadence is the wheel cleaner, right? Because essentially, if your car is light to medium soil, we would have on gloves. So the gloves are, we're trying to keep your hands as clean as possible.
Okay.
There's a reason for that. So blue, we would start with the body. Number 2, orange, wheel cleaner, we would start with the wheels. Spray that magic on 30 seconds. It won't singe your nose, nothing harmful. As far as the chemicals in it, nothing harmful. You work your way around 1, 2, 3, 4 wheels. After you're done with the wheels rolling, number 3 would be tire shine. We're going to put that tire shine on number 3. The gloves are still on. We're trying to protect your hands.
All right, so now do we have gloves on, washing for wireless washing, wax? We gloves the whole time?
We recommend it.
Is it any gloves? Is it the latex gloves?
Just some latex gloves.
Okay.
Some light, because essentially we're trying to keep your hands clean. Because the number 4 process is really, why we do that. And so if you start with number 1 with the wash plus wax, your gloves are on. Number 2, you come back with the wheel cleaner. You clean the wheels. Safe for all surface types as far as wheels. Number 3, you use the tire shine. Listen, some people like the tire shine. Some people don't. We prefer it. We love it. Our customers love it. So that's 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Roland, when you're done with those 1, 2, 3 steps, we take those gloves off. We clean your hands. We clean your hands with essentially a wipe, right? We want to get the moisture. We want to get the grime. We want to get the soil off your hands. Because when we get to step 4, as far as the windows, we want clean hands. And we spray that yellow, as far as that glass cleaner, on those windows with that yellow glass towel. And if you, again, wipe in horizontal lines, you will see very clearly as far as the power of, listen, these windows will probably look about as good as they've ever looked as far as when you first bought the car.
Okay. All right, let me go to my panel here. So let me see, which of these 3 likely spend their Saturdays washing their car? Probably you, Tyler.
Look, I hear y'all take washing cars serious in LA, and I love the feeling when a car is freshly washed or detailed, and it's that fresh, clean scent. Does 5W Auto Cleaning offer any products that offer a signature fragrance or option that gives that sensory experience, while cleaning?
Good question. And I will say to your statement, LA, you will see some clean cars out here. As far as odor eliminator, we saved that for last. Roland, I'm not sure if Roland can put that up. As far as it's a purple bottle, we have a fragrance.
No, I don't think I had a purple bottle, player. Hold on, wait.
No. There should be a purple bottle there.
Mackenzie, where the bottle at? Mackenzie.
But to answer that question, we will finish it off with an odor eliminator. Pet scents, If you have food scents in your car, some people smoke. It will eliminate.
Mackenzie, you're supposed to give me all the bottles. Give me, see, that's right. That's why you're on TV right now.
Purple.
That's why you're on TV. Thank you. You're supposed to give me the towels. Mackenzie, you're gonna be the producer. You're supposed to produce.
So to answer
all
that
right.
question,
So hold. Let's go on back. Hold up. Since Mackenzie fine did her job, okay.
Eliminator.
All right. The purple one. All right. So.
Yes, sir.
Odor eliminator. I got odor eliminator. Then I got glass cleaner. Okay. Go ahead.
Sir. Roland, I tell you what. If you go ahead and open that purple and just kind of spritz it in the air, maybe you can tell your panel what that smells like.
Man, I ain't about to spray this stuff in there. What's wrong with you?
No. Or you can smell it there too. Just smell it there and just tell me if you smell that in your interior cabin. What do you think that smells like? It's pretty good, right?
What does that smell like? First of all, I'm stuffy right now, so I really can't smell a damn thing. I really can't smell a damn thing right now because I'm stuffy. But go ahead.
It didn't hurt your nose, right? It didn't.
No, it didn't hurt my nose at all. And actually, it's not an overpower. See, the part of the problem when you get your car washed, it's an overpowering smell. So
correct.
It's actually it's not like a really loud smell, but it's not a flat. So it's right there in the middle.
Right. So I think to answer the panelist question, this is what we finished the car off with. You can spray it. There's a black towel that comes with that odor eliminator. We don't suggest directly spraying it on leather or cloth seats. Spray it on the towel. You can work your way around the cabin as far as the carpet areas of the interior.
Oh, hold up. So hold up. We got the color coded towels too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So that go with the orange. That go with the red.
Correct.
That go with the blue.
Correct.
What the hell does go with? This yellow? What is this?
Yellow goes with the yellow to your right there.
All right. Oh, so hold up. That's yellow. All right. So what this towel go to? Hey, come on. Water shot. What does this go to?
Now that one, Roland, we call plush dessert. So after you're done with those windows on step 4, I was talking about earlier, you're going to use that plush, and if there's any excess haze on the windows, that plush towel will get your windows. It's absolutely crystal clear and clean.
Okay. All right. So hold up. Now I got the red, I got the orange, the blue. Where the purple towel? What goes with the purple?
The purple towel, essentially.
I'm just messing with you.
I know what you're doing.
This the odor eliminator. Ain't no towel.
Right. There you go. Essentially, I'm like, you don't put air freshener scents in your car with a towel. But,
ain't no towel.
But black, as far as black, I mean, purple, we could make it purple, but black, I mean, do you really need a towel to put the odor eliminator in your car? So.
Okay. All right. Larry.
Yeah, so congratulations on this and having you here this evening. Can you talk about where people can buy the products? Is there
ShopBlackStarNetwork.com, Larry? Larry, this is the ShopBlackStarNetwork.com marketplace segment.
You can buy it on Roland.
So right.
You can find it on Shop Redback.
No, you're gonna buy it on ShopBlackStarNetwork.com, Larry. Larry, keep up, Larry.
Roland. What I meant is if you get it there, right, and then say you need to order a lot of them.
Easy. You order a lot of them from ShopBlackStarNetwork.com. Larry, let me help you out again, Larry. This is called the ShopBlackStarNetwork.com marketplace segment. So if you're trying to buy the 5W Auto products, I need you to go to ShopBlackStarNetwork.com, Larry.
That's exactly what I just said. I just said that.
And when you go to ShopBlackStarNetwork.com to buy the products, you're also helping fund BlackStarNetwork.com.
And you get a discount, right? You get a discount.
It's on the website.
It's there.
Let me go to Mustafa, because Larry clearly don't know what the segment is. Mustafa, what's your question?
Oh man, got my head down. So first of all, thank you, brother. This is incredibly important. I mean, getting real serious. 280 million vehicles on the road, 100 billion gallons used every year for car washes and other folks cleaning their cars.
And Rick, just so you know, Mustafa is one of the biggest environmentalists, probably the biggest black environmentalist. So you know he is loving the saving of the water with the product. But Mustafa, going right ahead.
And
Yeah,
Brother
so,
Mustafa,
yeah, please go ahead.
no, Brother Mustafa, I agree with you on your social and your environmental concerns because, when we think about future generations, it's not something just we're talking the talk, we're walk the walk, and we are serious about it. Listen, we want your car clean, you want your car clean, but we're trying to find a more responsible, sustainable way to do it, and saving up to 40 to 50 gallons of water per use. Who's going to disagree with that going forward?
So y'all, so we got 5 different bottles. You've got 5 different towels, the 4 towels. Come on. Anthony, wake up. Come on, man. You got to be faster. Thank you. All right, I got the 5 bottles. I got the 4 towels right here. Then I got the plush towel right here for your windows as well. So, Rick, do you sell this as a package or individual?
To answer your question, Roland, we sell both. Each one of those bottles you can buy individually, or that exterior bundle, which I sent you, includes the 5 bottles and the 5 towels.
Gotcha. All right, then. So, folks, if y'all want, this is 5W Auto. If y'all want to get this for all you car enthusiasts, Larry, where do they go?
Yeah, Shop Marketplace. You got to go to Shop.
No, Larry. They go to Shop Black Star. Larry. I'm trying to bail you out, Larry. Larry, they go to.
I just said that.
Larry, they go to the market. No, Larry, no. You said Shop Marketplace. No, Larry, they go to the marketplace at shopblackstarnetwork.com. Repeat after me.
Marketplace.
Larry, where do they go?
Go to Shop. They go to Shop the Marketplace, right? They go to the Marketplace.
Larry, my God, Larry. Oh, my God, Larry. They go to the Marketplace at Shop Black Star Network. Tyler, can you please do this for me, please? Tyler.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they'll go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. You can find, look, they're already in the comments saying they're already purchasing, so you sold them already.
There you go. Oh, my God. How is it? See, Rick, you got to understand, Larry is a professor, so he used to giving damn lectures. He ain't used to having to, do some work like his students. So, my Lord. Y'all, the product is 5W Auto. Show the website again. It's the marketplace, our marketplace on shopblackstarnetwork.com. No, do not show the graphic. I want to see the website. Thank you. Show the website. That's the product. Larry ain't figured it out yet. It's shopblackstarnetwork.com. Y'all, we got a plethora of black-owned businesses on the website. 5W Auto. Rick, I appreciate this here. Man, thanks a bunch. Let's see. Somebody told me, Roland, you can at least clean your wheels. No. See, so what I'm gonna do is, when I go get the car wash, I'm gonna bring this with me and I'm gonna tell them spray this on the wheels to clean the rims. But I'm
Roland. If you need to clean the windows, you get bird droppings on your car. You can listen. We make a 3.
Rick,
you don't do it.
Rick, let me explain something to you. Okay? I just want you to understand, Rick. I want you to understand. I prayed to the Lord a very specific prayer years ago.
Okay.
I said, God, I need you to bless me with enough money to do 3 things. I'm from Houston. Number 1, run my air conditioner all day. Because it wasn't nothing like growing up in Houston and my dad got that damn AC on 80 and we sweating in the damn heat. I put this sucker on 65, okay? Matter of fact, him and my mama at my house right now, they freezing because I pay the light bill. So that's number 1. Number 2, Lord, I need enough money to valet park when the hell I want to. I couldn't stand having my daddy parking way the hell out. We had to walk to the damn mall at I could valet park. And number 3, Larry, to make enough money where I can call people to do the work that I do not want to do. So I ain't fixing nothing, I ain't changing nothing, I ain't washing nothing. That ain't what I do. So when the wash man decides to do the news, then I will wash my car. I ain't taking money off his table, and he ain't taking money off my table. So
Understood.
that's how I roll. So for the people who love, my man Elroy Saylor, I saw him over the weekend. Elroy loves to wash his car. I'm going to send him send this to him. He will love this here. But no, Rick, I am not washing that car.
Understood. It's not for everybody. Understood.
Now, Rick, if you had a solution to clean some golf shoes, I'm with you on that. But we ain't washing that car. All right, Rick, I appreciate it. Congratulations. Last question. When did y'all start the business?
June 2022. June 2022.
All right, then. So, y'all, 5W Auto, again, let me go down the line here. You got, since, what's her name? That little child, Mackenzie, screwed it up. So let me put this on that end over there. So first and foremost, y'all, you got the waterless wash and mix. Then y'all can go and move to the wheel cleaner. Then y'all can move to the tire shine. Then y'all can do, y'all can do the odor eliminator. Rick, I spray this, Rick. I go ahead. At least I do this. At least I do spray. And then y'all, for the glass cleaner, y'all can move to that. You got the tiles that color code right here. It ain't hard to mix it up so that way you ain't one going with the other. And then of course you got the plush tile to add that special shine on your glass, on your windows. All right, Rick, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, Roland. Appreciate you guys.
All right, that's it for us. Let me thank Mustafa. Let me thank Tylik. Larry, I don't know why you were acting like a Sigma today. Or iota.
Hold on now.
Come on now. Oh, that's right. Okay, hold on.
You better watch it.
I don't know. Come on now. I mean, you act like, you know, I mean, it's like you were giving like
this year?
You were giving Sigma and iota vibes today.
Nah. Oh, always ice cold. Come on now. It's been a long day.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, that's right, Tyler. You in that little youth group? You a little Sigma?
Yeah, we stroll the right way. We don't do that stroll you be doing.
Okay, first of all, let me be real clear with you. First of all, alphas don't stroll. We step. Sororities stroll. Let me help you out. We step. Sororities stroll. So clearly sororities and Sigmas stroll.
Well, you know, I don't think y'all win step shows, do y'all?
Boy, you do not want to get your feelings hurt when it comes to stepping. Now you know doggone well.
You got three. Plus you got 3-on-1 on here.
You know doggone well, y'all. You know doggone well, y'all can't step. Don't even.
Meet me on the stage.
Boy, please don't even. Between you and Terrell, y'all can roll and stroll, but y'all can't step. So just letting y'all know. Yeah, y'all, Terrell, he in the control. He another one of them listening. First of all, I'm shocked. I really am, because, you know, I rarely meet Sigmas under 55. So between Tylik and Terrell, that's shocking. All right, y'all, that's it. Tylik, Mustafa, Larry, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Folks, y'all want to support the work that we do? Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Your dollars are critically important. Y'all, we got some amazing stuff happening. We got 2 new shows we're working on. Man, we are like retooling BlackStarNetwork.com, man. Yo, we about to close 2025 strong, and we going hard in 2026. So your donations are critically important. If you want to give us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. That's also for credit cards. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money orders, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. That's how we have the bank account set up. It funds all of our shows. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037 7-0196. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. If you want to, of course, get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available on bookstores nationwide. Get it online. Get the audio version I read on Audible. Now, If you want to get our Black Star Network, Roland Martin Unfiltered swag, go to, yes, Larry, shopblackstarnetwork.com. T-shirts, hoodies, wall art, mugs, and more, all kind of stuff. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Use the QR code. For our Black-owned products like this 5W Auto, all the stuff that you see also to my left, man, we got so much stuff. These are all Black-owned companies. Folks, let's recirculate the dollar in our community. Y'all buy gifts, birthday gifts, anniversary gifts, Christmas gifts, all that good stuff. Let's do it. Let's do it. So you see it all right, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, shopblackstarnetwork.com. And don't forget, of course, our podcast, we're on all available platforms, our audio podcast, all available platforms. We do it through the iHeartRadio Podcast Network. And so check it out there. And of course, we want you to support Fanbase. Download the app Fanbase, and you can also invest. StartEngine.com/Fanbase. StartEngine.com/Fanbase. That's it. And lastly, folks, you see I'm rocking my shirt, Get Into Good Trouble, Necessary Trouble. That was the quote from the late Congressman John Lewis. So stay involved, stay active. Folks, I'll see you tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network, where alphas step, not stroll. That's them other little youth groups.